Hey guys, so I saw that there are not a lot of install videos for the Lb7 downpipe. It's not the easiest install, so I figured why not make a quick little video reviewing my experience and give you guys a couple of tips if you're trying to tackle a job. So there's going to be 6 bolts. There's 1, 2, 3, and then a 4th on the bottom. Those are all 12mm 12-point bolts. There's a 14mm and a 14 on either side of the downpipe. Here it is. You can see there's my downpipe. She's really warm. I've been just driving around, listening to her. So yeah, start off by soaking your bolts in PB Blaster. PB Blaster is going to be a big blessing. It helps kind of soak the bolts, help them kind of get broken easily because they're torqued down really tight from the factory. So once they've been soaked for a couple of days, go ahead and start by removing your AC compressor. Remove your hose coming out of your turbo here. I removed that bracket off those hard lines, unclipped that little connector there, and then took off that black box. I think it's the glow plug box. And then there's 2 bolts that keep the box on the truck. All comes out. There's the bracket that keeps the box that you bolt the box to is actually connected to this bracket on the hard lines. Take all that off. Take your ground off right there. It helps for later on. So just kind of get that all out of the way. I had my heat shield off, my turbo heat shield. There's a heat shield and a downpipe heat shield. Just a couple of bolts. They're not hard. Take them off. I recommend going through. Yeah, I mean, you kind of got to go through your fender well here to get to them. But once those are all off, it's just you and 6 bolts. There's another guy on YouTube who used a serpentine belt tool, just kind of like a long piece of metal. You put a socket on one side, and then it's coming up this way, and you have an extension bar coming out. So rather than trying to work at it under the motor, you can kind of get it coming back at you. So I had the socket on it, had the tool extension coming out, and then a breaker bar. So I just kind of broke the top 3, and then I threw a 14mm on that serpentine belt tool thing, and then broke that one. So those got me 1, 2, 3 of the 12 points, and then the 14. The 12 point underneath and the 14 on the side, those were a pain. I got super excited when I broke those 3 that I went ahead and I used a wrench, an open-end wrench on that. You can't get a socket on it because the downpipe's in the way. Yeah, there's just not enough room between the downpipe and the bolt. So I used an open-end wrench, stripped it pretty bad. So I went to my buddies. We used his welder, just welded a bigger nut on there, and then we were able to break it off. So that was 5. So 4 of them were with the tool. That one was with the wrench. And then the 6th one, down underneath, yeah, I tore a ton of insulation out. Just be careful. I gotta figure something out. I don't like it just being all loose like that. But for that 6th bolt, we got a ratchet with this little extension so it cleared the downpipe. So the ratchet was just sitting between the downpipe and the firewall. I had the ratchet going out that way, so that I was able to lay across the motor and just kind of pull it. Just really yanked all I could on it with my right hand. You just gotta kind of have a He-Man, Thor, Hulk moment and just put everything into it and you'll break it. Got my hand pretty good. But yeah, once it's off, once all the bolts are out, your AC compressor's off, the hose is off, all that's off, all pushed to the side. I got it out the top. You just kind of wiggle it. It's not bad. Just make sure, like, even the little ground, little things, just everything to the side so you have as much room as possible to kind of wiggle it out. The new downpipe went in pretty good, pretty easy. Took just a second to put it back in, put the new one in. I used the MBRP 3-inch. Really easy to put in. Just tighten the bolts up. I dropped a bolt. It's just sitting in the valley of the motor, so one of the bolts is out. I just have 5 of the 6 in there. I'll get it out eventually. It's just like trapped, super hard to get to. But yeah, so what you really want to do, soak those bolts. Get that serpentine belt tool. Another guy on YouTube did a video, used it. That's what I use for the 4. That one, make sure you You don't use an open-end wrench to get it off. And then the bottom one, if you can get the tool on it, good. I had to use a ratchet and have it coming out this way, and I just laid across and yanked it. But overall, it downpipe did really well. Some guy walking by. I noticed it spools up quite a bit faster, and spools down faster too. Just feels like it breathes better, getting that stock constricted downpipe out. Difference in sound, can't tell too much. I mean, if I'm up against a wall, a hard wall, I can hear the sound kind of bounce off from the exhaust, and it's definitely a little deeper. It gets rid of that little hiss. I think you're going to see a bigger sound change in the LLY, you know, the 05 and up, with the I guess 04 and up, with the VGT, with the vanes, kind of gets rid of that screech. But there is a difference. I like it. It's connected to my 5-inch turboback, 7-inch tip. She's tuned by Starlite diesel out here in Utah. Don't have a monitor right now, so it kind of looks like a sleeper. I have my DSP-5 switch just down under the dash, pretty inconspicuous. Got an intake, boost valve. I actually have a batmowheel in there. Threw a batmowheel in, that was fun. My buddy helped me. Have my old turbo wheel sitting in the dash, held on by tape because I'm lazy to find something nicer. But overall, it's good. Got fabtech tie rods. Slowly building it. Next is a lift pump and then tranny. So if you have any questions, go ahead and feel free to ask. But thanks for watching.